Western painter Maynard Dixon found deep inspiration in New Mexico.
One of the main things Dixon really wanted to do through his paintings is he wanted to capture what he was seeing. He recognized from that first trip in 1900 that things were changing dramatically. I think he looked at it as his responsibility not only to be true to himself how he painted, but to capture the changes that occurred. He captures it on site at the time with the light, with the people, with the emotion. He's born before the Battle of Little Bighorn, and he lives through the Great Depression, World War I, World War II, and he sees so many things change in the America West, from an area that was really agricultural to an industrial society. In October 24th of 1929, the stock market crash. And that completely devastates all artists, including Maynard Dixon. So he goes from being extremely productive, making lots of sales, to all of a sudden nothing. Things start to show up in his work, like Shapes of Fear. And when he painted this painting, he even says in his writings that it was like there was a vice around my neck, that I was depressed, and the only way I could find my way out was to do this painting. There's very few options for a man like Maynard Dixon. He wants to go where he can paint and get inspired. And Mabel Dodge Lujan invites him to come and stay. And this is free lodging and a free studio and a place that he's always wanted to get back to. He really hasn't been there since the turn of the century. So he goes and he explores New Mexico, specifically Taos in that area. So you have no money, but you have a roof over your head, and you have your 3 kids and your wife. So you're happy, and it allows you to reach out and try to find that deeper inspiration, and he was able to do that in Taos. He did 20 pieces that were the Sky series, just skies. So he was allowing himself to find inspiration, and one of those was in Earth Knower, and that painting represented to Dixon not only a Native American and what that individual has to do with being grounded to Mother Earth, but it also represented his hope that maybe that America would have a place for being a part of the land, not just destroying the land, not just industrialization, but more than that, a respect of the land and the people. He felt that there was unjust problems for the Native Americans. They weren't treated correctly, there was lots of poverty, but yet he could see through all that, that there was a spirit there that he didn't see in Western civilization. And in fact, when he was leaving Taos, going back to San Francisco, Juan Mirabal said, "Stay if you want. There's a house right here. It won't charge you anything." Dixon respected the Native American culture for that giving, that ability to go, come and stay with us, which he did many times, not only in Taos, but in Hopi too. He did the same thing. I don't think Dixon really romanticizes a lot. He really is more documenting what he sees. In fact, you'll see a lot of his drawings have, mundane chores. In 1939, Maynard Dixon gets a commission, important commission for the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs. And Dixon being Dixon and how he feels about Native Americans, he presents mural studies, and in these he shows the Native Americans as they were before, free, and then he shows them as they were afterwards, which was basically broken and at the mercy of the white man. And of course, these didn't fly very well with BIA, so he had to redo them and he had to make them less controversial. Dixon knows that what has happened to the Native American culture, and he comments as much as is allowable through his work, and they can still be found. This 8 by 25 mural is still found in the Bureau of Indian Affairs. What he really emphasizes, especially from about 1925 on, is these big clouds, vistas that go on forever. And when you see people or structures, they're small and insignificant. And I think that was what Dixon really felt the West was about, that, you know, we're just here as bypass. The land is going to be there. He even said when he left Boulder Dam, which he went to in 1934 with the PWPA, and he sees this huge monolith that man has made and these small little figures working against it, he said the last laugh will come with Earth, because ultimately the dam won't last, but the land will. So as all artists, Dixon struggled to find who he was artistically. And he had lots of influence, impressionists, he saw them, he lived in New York, he knew the Hoppers and the Clackens of the world. And he finally came to the conclusion that being an American regionalist, capturing what you see and being true to that throughout your life, wherever it might take you, through highs and lows, that if you could stay on that path of originality and an honesty to what you see in paint, then you've managed to accomplish something, and Maynard Dixon clearly did that.